Welcome back to News, Politics, Conspiracy Theory Chat. As always, I'm your host, Al Wooden, aka the Skeptical Canuck. And after a week of absence, we're back in action. Tonight on the program for you, Joe Biden's a deepfake? Well, we'll show you all about that. Red Deer mother in tears as her son is taken away at the border in a white van. Next, historic discovery or Pandora's box? Scientists divided over the creation of artificial fetuses. Next, the frequency of brainwaves, the physics fact book, as well as is your cell phone controlling your mind? Mind controlled by a cell phone from the Scientific American. Also on tonight's program, Toots Hibbert. Was he murdered? Was he murdered by malpractice, or did he really die of the supposed virus we've all been running around from for the last year and a half? Next, U.S. deploys private military contractors from Libya to Europe. I'm not sure. I haven't pre-screened that story. It might not be very spicy. It might be mind-shattering. Tim Hortons says cold weather, lukewarm roll up the rim contest is not that popular this year. As Tim Hortons vows to change roll up the rim contest, and the contest's inventor offers a few words of advice. Also, Toronto's lockdown czar's husband has financial ties to Pfizer's vaccine. Also, Elon Musk says $40 million tweet was worth it after being fined for media manipulation. Oh my goodness. Lily, Ford government talks of immunity passport for COVID, or I'm going to call it Cooties 19 vaccine in Ontario, Canada. But first, let's go ahead and hear from one of my favorite artists of all time, as always, usually not on the program. Wax, this is Handbasket. I'm going to puff a little J if you want to fast forward. This is 4 minutes and 46 seconds. Let's go ahead and hear from it. And we're waiting for the live viewers to pop on. Wax, Handbasket. Oh, this is a good fucking joint right here. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. Some blueberry. revile. Oh my god, I'm so as fuck. Oh, oh. Oh, Jesus fuck. Oh my fucking goodness, that was longer than I thought. Wax Handbasket from 2017, and you can check out all Wax's tracks at Wax and Her Tea. And that'll be in the show notes after the show. That's Wax and Her Tea. So without further ado, let's get on with what I've got for you. And as always, we do that to let people pile in. And it seems no one is piling in, you mother truckers. All right. Well, in light of that, let's see if we can get this off. There we go. It's off the screen. Oh, actually, I need to leave that on there. So first, we're going to take a look at, is Joe Biden a deepfake? Maybe the speculations are correct. And so many had speculated that Joe Biden had already passed away. And in fact, he might be a ghost. Well, perhaps he's a digital ghost. We're going to take a look at a video from a very good presenter, Jason Burmis. Oh, you know what? I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger here. I might as well go, well, there, that's a little bit better. From Jason Burmis, and you can check out all of Jason Burmis's content premium at Rockfin, that's ROKFIN.com. And you just got to give them an email, same as signing up for a Google or signing up for a YouTube account. And yeah, you can hop on there and see most of his content for free. Some of it's premium, but you can also check him out on YouTube. So let's go ahead and check this out. I'm going to turn the sound on for him. And this is undeniable proof, not that perhaps the supposed president has passed on, but definitely proof that deepfake or at least green screen technology is being employed to present the president as being available for interview, perhaps? I'm not sure. It's very strange. And we also know that most presidents have had body doubles, so the mask makes it a lot easier to have a body double. Well, let's go ahead and see this video here. If it plays, for fuck's sakes. Shrink it down just a little bit. I want everybody to see it. You've got to see this. It's unbelievable. So I can full screen this. What we're looking at is the sign. Watch this. Watch the microphones on the bottom, and you'll actually see first they're in front of his hand, and then they end up behind his hand. It's absolutely impossible. Watch this. So watch at the bottom of the screen. Watch this right here. Of course, it's very slow, shout out to StreamYard. Look at this. Watch Joe Biden's hands. Now, the microphone goes behind his hands. And then, oh, look at that. Look at those microphones. There's no way that those could be behind him. It's like, what? Here, I'll turn off. See, like, look. So, like, if you can see it, what's happening is right here, his hand, again, you just saw he was behind it supposedly, but here you can see that his supposed arm is right there in front of it. So what is this really? It's not really proof that Joe Biden's a deep fake. It's more like there's a green screen somewhere or some kind of, like Jason said, layering to make it seem like there's reporters there. Now, what does that indicate? Well, for me, that indicates perhaps it's a body double that can't do a convincing voice of Joe, or perhaps it's just that Joe is too mentally far gone at this point to give a coherent interview. And even here with a mask on, even if it is him before this, they could have taken all these shots, and even if he's babbling on about something, they could just dub over whatever they want. So, anyways, take a look at that. It's not in there right now, but after the show, probably 20 minutes or so, I'll end up giving this link out, and in fact, I'll copy it and I'll throw it into the chat. And if they let the replay go through at YouTube, then you'll have that up there for yourself. So I'm gonna close that, and again, shout out to Jason, and you should check out Rockford. There's uncensored stuff there that you can't see on YouTube. Also, there's ODYSEE, and I'd recommend everybody get on there. It's a little slow on the streaming for some reason, but when it works well. So I'm not sure if it slows down with more usage. I'm not sure what, but we should definitely try and support these other platforms, because YouTube makes it impossible for anybody to even make $1. So we'll close that off there. Next, we're going to look at a story from Canada. This is entitled "Red Deer Mother in Tears as Son is Taken to Undisclosed Isolation Center." Not sure how long this article is. We'll try and read most of it. If not, I'm going to be doing a story on it, and possibly included a few other stories and some little blobs of information. Okay, and this is from the Western Standard, the westernstandardonline.com. So, published 2 months ago on January 31st, 2021 by Dave Naylor. And let's see if it's a good article. A Red Deer mother. Oh, pardon me. That fucking joint really messed me up. A Red Deer mom told of her anguish after watching her son being detained at a Calgary airport, loaded into a van, and taken to an undisclosed isolation center. Rebecca McDonald was at the airport late Saturday night, hoping to welcome her son, Ethan, back to Calgary from Arizona. McDonald hasn't seen her son for 2 years, but the joy soon turned to tears when her son was taken into custody for having what the Canadian federal government considers the wrong cooties 19 test. They aren't saying it's not accurate, and they aren't wanting to take him to a quarantine facility. They won't let me talk to him. They won't let me see him. They won't come and talk to me. The Border Patrol Service say they have... Oh my God, it's dry in here. Jesus, I gotta get a humidifier. The Border Patrol Service say they have nothing to do with it. They won't tell me who has to do with it, said McDonald. in a social media video as she walked to the airport concourse. They won't tell me who's picking him up. They won't tell me where he's going, and they won't tell me anything. They see he doesn't have a choice. That it's the law. They say I don't have the right to talk to him. They are taking him against my will and his will, and I'm not okay with it. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know where I'm supposed to find him. I'm freaking out, she said, as she dissolved into tears. In a bid to level off the number of the virus cases being brought in by returning travelers. Oh my goodness. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, where'd that come from? Announced Friday, upon their arrival back in Canada, they will be taken to an isolation facility and given another coronavirus test. As if those tests mean anything, right? Let me open my window. God damn it. Is it ever dry here? Oh my. All right, sorry about that. If testing negative after 3 days, they will be able to leave the government facility. The government facility, people. If you test negative with a test that means absolutely nothing, or are they not using the PCR test anymore? I'm not sure. You'll be able to leave the government facility and finish the rest of their quarantine period at home. If positive, they are taken to another isolation location for the 14-day time frame. And shout out to Grimerica. Check out their podcast. They're on YouTube, and they're also on the other platforms I mentioned, both Rockfin and Odyssey, as well as lbry.tv, which is the same as Odyssey. It's just for some reason they have two websites. I'm not sure why. So they, the two members of that podcast, are planning multiple trips into the United States. So I'm curious, and I'm really hoping I get to talk to them before they leave. I'm not sure. They're leaving pretty soon, probably in the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to try to follow up with them. But I'm curious if they know about this supposed rule. And I saw a video where someone refused to test. So I'm not sure what the heck is going on and why this kid was taken. And perhaps maybe the mother could have refused the test. So let's see how much longer this is. Oh, it's basically over. Okay. It says, so yeah, if you are, this is crazy. If you test negative after 3 days, you'll be able to leave the government facility and finish the rest of your quarantine period at home. If positive, they're taken to a different isolation location for the 2-week, 14-day time frame. That's basically a prison sentence. In a later social media post, which is it's basically a random lottery selected punishment for traveling internationally. You've lost your privilege as a Canadian citizen, which is in our Charter of Rights and Freedoms, the right to move freely, or the freedom of movement to leave Canada as you want, to come and go, and as well as move to the provinces. Yeah, let's finish this off. In a later social media post, McDonald said her worries are being extended because the health officials in question won't work weekends. They won't work weekends. They don't work weekends, rather. I'm just angry now, she said. There is zero accountability. There's no questions asked. There is nobody you can hold accountable for this. I just want people to ask themselves what kind of Canada they want to live in. People fight long and hard for freedom, and this just really feels wrong. It's really wrong. Jesus Christ. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if your kid was taken from you and put in a white van and you're told you can't know where he's going? How do you even know that they're real government officials? How do you know he's not being kidnapped? Well, he is being kidnapped, but for what's the motivation? And how do we know he's not going to be given a vaccine in their custody? See, this has to stop, and these people need to be punished. The police have no problem pulling over somebody on the side of the road. The detectives, because I realize the police on the side of the road, they're not the ones who are supposed to go after these people, but the detectives have no problem going after people who are, maybe perhaps selling illicit drugs or cheating the taxes. Don't want to cheat the tax man. But do they ever go after things that really matter? And now we're getting to the point with this, basically this, what would you call it, acceleration of their New World Order agenda under this false virus threat, which is probably going to become a real virus threat, in my opinion, after these vaccines are finished rolling out. because we don't know what they're putting in these people's body. Neither do they. Neither do they. Anyways, let's finish this off. Okay, Albertans, this is the original post, apparently. Okay, Albertans, this is urgent. Let's help Rebecca McDonald find her son. He was detained at a Calgary airport last night. Please share the original link. Will be posted at the end of the thread. This is unacceptable. What kind of province and country has Alberta, Canada become? The McDonald case was at least the second one in Calgary airport to cause anguish among the families. Edmonton pastor Chris Matthews told of his terrifying experience at the airport Thursday night when he went to pick up his wife, Nikki. She had been given the wrong test in Dallas and was whisked to an isolation center after she landed in YYC. I'm not sure what YYC is. So wait, let's read that again. She had been given the wrong test in Dallas and was whisked away to an isolation center after she landed in YYC. Huh. So what's the right test? I'm not sure. It doesn't, what a great article. The Justice Center for Constitution Freedoms, the JCCF, said they will file immediate court challenges to Trudeau. Trudeau's plan. Whoever did this didn't edit it well. Trudeau plan, saying it's unconstitutional. I think they meant Trudeau's plan. And not only is it unconstitutional, it's straight up illegal. It violates and I mean, I'm not sure if the Prime Minister's above the criminal code of Canada, but this clearly violates that, and all people involved with this are violating that. So they're criminals, and they should be stopped. But of course, the law doesn't apply to those who wield a gun and a badge. So I say, don't defund the police. Let's elect the police. Let's scrap this crappy policing model that we have for cities and towns and stuff, and adopt like the American model, or perhaps invent a new model of elected sheriffs. Why not? Or perhaps make it so you need a license to become a police officer. Anyways, let's move on. We'll see if we've got any comments there. Absolutely none. Absolutely none. I'm ashamed of you people. All right, let's see. Historic discovery, or Pandora's box. Scientists divided over the creation of artificial human embryos. As promised, we're going to check this out. All right, 22 minutes. If you're watching this post-production, enjoying, please smack the like button. And hey, share it out. Try to red pill one of your dumbass friends and waking up into this shit's really going on. And they need to get the hell out while they still can. Smart cities are coming, and by 2030, perhaps even 2025, you won't be able to leave. So get out now. Get out now. On with the article here. Look at that. Look at that disturbing little picture. All right, let's check this out. It looks like Gollum. Is that a wiener, or is that the umbilical cord? No, I think that's a wiener right there, guys. It's a boy, people. No, maybe it's a toe. I don't know. It's not the first time I've heard that about myself. Historic discovery, or Pandora's box. Scientists divided over the creation of artificial human embryos. This is from Sputnik News, for what it's worth.com/science, apparently. All right. And this is from 2021, apparently. February 18th. Okay, according to the result of a study published on 17th of March in the Journal of Nature Portfolio, model embryos may help scientists to solve issues of infertility, miscarriage, and congenital disease. However, the news also caused ethical concerns. What is it, like just a embryo grown without a brain or something? Like, I don't get it. Let's see. An international team of scientists led by the researchers from Australia's Monash University in Melbourne. Oh, sorry, it's Monash University in Melbourne. I guess it's Australia. Yeah, Australia. See that, or Austria, and I need glasses. Has created an artificial human embryo from skin cells. The news was hailed as a revolutionary breakthrough, which may potentially allow researchers to study the earliest stages of human development. John Carroll, head of Monash Biomedicine Discovery Institute, said that the discovery was the result of years of experiments. The scientists first took skin cells from adult donors and reprogrammed them into 3D structures. What? Which were similar to human embryos. Researchers dubbed them blastoids. Oh, wow. I wonder if I can get the blastoid 6. Despite similarities, eye blastoids have enough differences to prevent them from becoming a fetus or a baby. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. That's this is sounding really sketchy. They're gonna grow a baby that has enough differences that it's not gonna be a full baby. I don't know. This is I'd love to see the science behind that. I'm gonna look more into this. This will be big news all over the research world, said John Carroll. There's been a lot of interest in trying to get this breakthrough. I bet. I bet. Especially for McDonald's, I think. Ethical issues. Uh, McDonald's, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. It's aborted fetal tissue. All right, yummy. Because of their close similarity to human embryos, eye blastoids can be used to model the first 2 weeks of the embryonic development. As mentioned earlier, this introduces the possibility of studying and potentially solving such issues as genetic and congenital disease and infertility, but it also raises ethical questions. See, and most of infertility is, it comes from the environment and the stuff that we're eating and the water and all that good crap. Congenital disease that usually only exists in like inbreeding, so I'm not sure what they're talking about. If they're calling most people inbred, I don't know. It seems like they're trying to really cover up for stuff like I don't know, vaccination injury. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure fuck YouTube. I'm sure it makes anyone who is morally serious nervous when people start creating structures in a peri dish that are so close to being early human beings. They're not quite there yet, so that's good. What? But they're oh my god. I'm sure it makes anyone who is morally serious nervous when people start creating structures in a peri dish that are so close to being early human beings. They're not quite there yet, so that's good. But the more they press the envelope, the more nervous I think anybody would get that the people are trying to create some human beings in a test tube, says Dr. Daniel Salmasi, a bioethicist at Georgetown University. Um, Yeah, I've heard that bioethicists are a bunch of scumbags from a very reputable guy, James Corbett. So I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. Insu Hun, a bioethicist at Case Western Reserve University and Harvard University, says there is a need to create new laws which will guide scientists during further research. I think there's already laws about that. It's forbidden. Presently, laws prohibit. There we go. The cult. I didn't pre-read this. Prohibit the culture and study of human embryos beyond 14 days. Jose Prolo, a researcher of the study, believes a discussion should be held whether to extend the 14-day limit for eye blastoids. Eye blastoid, you go, a human in a tube. Don't worry, it has no soul. Ding. Only 1995. Limit for eye blastoids. I wonder if you could just like jizz in a tube and get an eye blastoid of like yourself. The 14-day limit for eye blastoids, given that they are not real human embryos, because they want to extend that. So I know I cut that in there with a little bit of dry humor. Literally dry, as my mouth is incredibly dry. Some scientists, however, oppose this idea. They don't want to extend it. They've got ethics. They're not bioethicists. Ironically, bioethicists want to do away with bioethics. Strange. I mean, in this article, anyways, some scientists, however, oppose this idea. We could just keep growing these sort of humans in a test tube, and why not? Even considering the fact that they're so close to human being, right? I don't know who writes this stuff. Human being, right? Or being human. Oh, I'm stoned here. All right, right, says Kirsten Matthews. I have to turn my water. A fellow in science and technology policy at Rice University. I guess I watch too much sci-fi because I find it really disturbing. You have to watch too much sci-fi to disturb. Because you have to watch too much sci-fi to find growing test tube babies that apparently, they're not going far enough as to have actual consciousness. but they are being developed in a test tube by skin cells. You have to be crazy and watch too much sci-fi, smoking a little bit too much herbs to find that disturbing. Pretty soon they'll call you QAnon if you don't like eugenics. I gotta grab some water here. Oh my mouth is incredibly dry. But yeah, we're gonna take a look at another article there in a second, and that just goes to show you that laws, ethics, all that stuff. Oh look, speaking of ethics, here's everybody's favorite dictator, Xi Jinping, or whatever the fuck his name is, Winnie the Pooh. I don't know what his name is. German Shepherd Major. What the fuck? I don't know why I'm reading that. It's interesting that bioethics are constantly trying to be rolled back and laws are constantly trying to be changed. It's almost as if laws don't mean anything except for you, me, and your cousin Larry. So let's check out another article while I grab some water, and this one's about the frequency of brain waves. Did you know that your brain waves actually have hertz, just like cell phones and radio waves and stuff like that? We're gonna check this out. Also, this one is your cell phone a psychotronic or a psychotropic drug, weapon of mass mind control? It's a little funny, quick article. Go by cell phone. Let me grab a quick glass of water. I'm dying. It'll just be 30 seconds, probably. All right. See, that was about 30 seconds. All right. So mind control by cell phone, huh? And I was looking at this. I was looking for answers to this on the one of the crappiest search engines, Google, which is it's almost impossible to find really basic, simple answers on there anymore. It's just so diluted. It's almost like, listen, Pornhub has all kinds of great results. It's got HD videos, all that stuff. But yet, if you search a phrase and keywords, your results won't even have the keyword searches in them. It's just like the most popular videos, and you can pay. I think you could pay to boost your videos on Pornhub and other things like YouTube and Facebook for your advertising. So basically, what Google is becoming is a place where it's not really showing you the most relevant search results. It's just showing you what is being promoted by the so-called algorithms, but they're basically just who's paying to play. So let's check this out. Mind control by cell phone. Electromagnetic signals from cell phones can change your brainwaves and behavior. But don't break out the aluminum foil head shield just yet. No, because it'd be very effective to do so, but we don't want that to interfere with your programming. This is by R. Douglas Fields from May 7th, 2008, all the way back in the young year of 2008. How naive we were. Was 5G still coming back then? Because that's clearly a picture of a 5G tower. Let me just, you know what? When my nose gets like this, I find if I just jam some water up there, it kind of helps. Let's see if that helps. Holy shit. I mean, smoking weed is fun, but when your nose and your mouth gets that dry, you really want to switch to a vaporizer or something. I don't know. Perhaps more edibles. Or perhaps I don't chug a joint before I start the show. Hospitals and airplanes ban the use of cell phones. Sorry, I didn't think it started there. Cell phones because of their electromagnetic transmissions that can interfere with sensitive electrical devices. Could the brain also fall into that category? Of course. All of our thoughts, sensations, and actions arise from bioelectricity generated by neurons that are transmitted through a complex neural circuit inside of our skull. Baffling to a man with a grade 8 education such as myself. Electrical signals between neurons generate electrical fields that radiate out of brain tissue as electrical waves that can be picked up by electrodes touching a person's scalp. Measurements of such brain waves in EEGs, I think they're electro something graphs, provide powerful insight into brain's function and a valuable diagnostic tool for doctors. Indeed, so fundamental are brainwaves to the internal workings of our mind. They've become the ultimate legal definition, drawing the line between life and death. Hmm. I guess they talk about how they cut you off of life support if you're in a coma and you have no brainwaves. Brainwaves change with a healthy person's conscious and unconscious mental activity. I guess such as in dream state and the state of and the state of arousal. But scientists can do more with brainwaves than just listen to the brain at work. They can selectively control brain function by transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS. I love how they give it little nice little acronyms. TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation, or the control of brain function. Like what the flip? Anyways, so that's pretty strange. And this is not the first article that I read about how you can alter someone's brain and thoughts and their behaviors uh, through some kind of stimulation. It's crazy. This technique uses powerful pulses of electromagnetic radiation beamed into the person's brain, beam it in there. Ow, I hurt my fist. To or excite particular brain circuits. Although a cell phone is much less powerful than TMS, the question still remains: could the electrical signals coming from a phone affect certain brain waves operating in a resonance with cell phone transmission frequencies? After all, the caller's cerebral cortex is just centimeters away from radiation broadcast from the phone's antenna. Two studies provide some revealing news. The first, led by Rodney Croft, the Brain Science Institute, Swinburne University of Technology in Melbourne, Australia, tested whether cell phone transmissions could alter a person's brainwaves. The researchers monitored the brainwaves of 120 healthy men and women, while a Nokia, sorry, I had a Nokia once. I was thinking of Nikola Tesla for some reason. I was thinking like a Tesla coil. While a Nokia 6110, I guess I should have said 6110, cell phone, one of the most popular cell phones in the world, was strapped to their head. Whoa. Whoa. So they monitor the brainwaves of these people while they strap the cell phone to their head, literally. One of the most popular cell phones in the world, it was strapped to their head. A computer controlled the phone's transmissions in a double-blind experimental design, which meant that neither test subject nor researchers knew whether the cell phone was transmitting idle while the EEG data was collected. The data shows that when the cell phone was transmitting, the power of a characteristic brain wave pattern called alpha waves in the person's brain was boosted significantly. The increased alpha wave activity was greatest in brain tissue directly beneath to the cell phone, strengthening the case that the cell phone was responsible for the observed effect. Cotton mouth to the max here. I've also got a pee, so I might do that in a moment. I'll see if I can find a video to pop on, but probably not. Let's see. So, what was the effect of that? I understood what they said here, but I just would love to hear the effect of that. Alpha waves of brain. Alpha waves of brain. I guess they meant the brain. I don't know. Grammar is a lost art these days, people. Alpha waves fluctuate at a rate of 8 to 12 cycles per second. Hertz. That's really strange. This is news to me. These brain waves. No, it's actually that's what we're going to talk about in this thing over here, or this thing. The frequency of. I think you got different emotions having different amount of rotations per minute, or hertz. All right, so let's do this. Alpha waves fluctuate at a rate of 12 to 8 cycles per second, or hertz. These brain waves reflect a person's state of arousal and attention. Whoa. Alpha waves are generally regarded as an indicator of reduced mental effort, or cortical idling, or mind wandering. Okay. But this conventional view is perhaps an oversimplification. Croft, for example, argues that an alpha wave is really regulating the shift of attention between external and internal inputs. External and internal inputs. Alpha waves increase in power when a person shifts his or her consciousness of the external world to internal thoughts. They also have key brainwave signatures of sleep. Cell phone insomnia. If a cell phone signal boosts a person's alpha waves, does this nudge them subliminally into an altered state of consciousness or have any effect at all on the workings of their mind that can be observed in a person's behavior? In this second study, James Horn and colleagues at Loughborough University Sleep Research Center in England devised an experiment to test this question. This result was surprising. Not only could the cell phone signals alter a person's behavior during the call, the effects of the disrupted brainwave patterns continued long after the phone was even switched off. This is actually pretty strange, isn't it? I think I might cut it halfway here. Let me see how much further it goes. Yeah. Oh, well, I guess I could probably maybe finish it. We'll see. This was on a completely unexpected finding, Horn told them. Horn told me. We didn't suspect any effect on the EEG after switching off the phone, he said. We were interested in studying the effects of mobile signals on sleep itself. But it particularly came obvious to Horn and colleagues preparing for the sleep research experiments that some of the test subjects had difficulty falling asleep. Horn and his colleagues controlled the Nokia cell phone, another popular basic phone, a different version of the phone, attached to the head of 10 healthy but sleep deprived men in their sleep research lab. Their sleep had been restricted to 6 hours the previous night, and the researchers then monitored the men's brainwaves by EEG while the phone was switched off and by remote computer, and also switched between standby, listen, and talk modes of the operation for 30-minute intervals on different nights. The experiment revealed that after the phone was switched to talk, a mode of the different wave pattern called delta waves in the range of 1 to 4 hertz remained dampened for nearly 1 hour after the phone was shut off. These brain waves are most reliable and sensitive marker of a two-stage sleep. Approximately 50% of total sleep consists of the stage, and the subject remained awake twice as long after the phone transmitting in talk mode was shut off. Although the test subjects had been sleep deprived the night before, they could not fall asleep for nearly 1 hour after the phone had been operating without their knowledge. Although this research shows that the cell phone transmissions can affect a person's brainwaves with persistent effects on behavior, Horn does not feel that there is any need for concern that cell phones. Oh, sorry about that. Really dry mouth here. Unbelievable. Summer. Get over here. Get over here. I have a nice air conditioner. All right. Although the research shows that cell phone transmissions can affect a person's brainwaves with persistent effects on behavior, Horn does not feel that there is any need for concern that cell phones are damaging. Why? Why not? The arousal effects of the researchers measured are equivalent to about half of a cup of coffee. They're just coming from electromagnetic radiation, not a cup of coffee, and many other factors in a person's surroundings will affect a night's sleep as much or more of the cell phone transmissions. Even still, I'd rather have coffee affecting my sleep than cell phone transmissions there, Dr. Horny. Dr. Horny. See, Horny? Horny. See? Horny. Anyway, he's talking about arousal. The significance of the research, he explained, is that although the cell phone power is low, electromagnetic radiation can nevertheless have an effect on mental behavior when transmitting at the proper frequency. He finds that this fact is especially remarkable when considering that everyone is surrounded by electromagnetic clutter radiating from all kinds of electronic devices in our modern world. Cell phones in talk mode seem to be particularly well tuned to frequencies that affect brainwave activity. The results show sensitivity to low level radiation to a subtle degree. These findings open the door a crack for more research to follow. One only wonders if, with different doses, durations, or other devices, would the effects be greater? All right, how long does this go on here? One more paragraph. Croft on emphasizes that there are no health worries from these new findings. The exciting thing about this research is it allows us to have a look at how you might modulate the brain function. And this look tells us something about how the brain works on a fundamental level. In other words, the importance of this work is illuminating the fundamental workings of the brain. Scientists can now splash away with their own self-generated electromagnetic waves and learn a great deal about how brain waves respond and what they do. As if they haven't been doing those experiments for 60, 70 years, 80 years. Mind Matters is edited by. Never mind. I don't really care. You can read that yourself. All right. So we'll close that off. And I mean, this one. Let's see if. Yeah, I guess I'll read that really quickly. The electromagnetic transmissions emitted from cell phones can interfere with everything from airplane signals to hospital equipment. The question for a long. You know what? I just read that. I'm not going to read this. I'll do a separate thing about that when my nose isn't so dry here. Frequency of brainwaves. So I just want to touch on this really quickly. Psychology of New York. This is like a bunch of different, I guess, sources. I don't know. It says bibliographic entry. Okay, so brainwaves have been grouped according to their frequencies and labeled with Greek letters. Their most common frequencies include alpha, beta, delta, and theta. Okay, I'm not sure what that means. Delta waves occur mainly in infants, sleeping adults, or adults with brain tumors. Theta waves occur mainly in children ages 2 to 5. Alpha waves, Jesus Christ, I can't fucking believe this. They occur mainly in children of ages 2 to 5. Alpha waves occur in adults who have their eyes closed or who are relaxed. Beta waves mainly occur in adults who are awake, altered, or focused. That's weird because I find when I close my eyes while I'm running, it's a lot easier to run. Like, it's a lot easier to go faster. And yeah, it's just unfortunate because when you're running down the damn road, you don't want to keep your eyes closed because you could veer into traffic. Hans Berger made the discoveries from EEG, recording what he found that the brain oscillates at about 10 cycles per second when the eyes are closed and relaxed. He called them alpha waves. Interesting. That's from 2002, apparently. That book, anyways. And so this is just like detailing, I guess, the study of the brain. Here we've got the state of frequency range, state of mind. We got deep sleep, drowsiness, also the first stage of sleep, relaxed but alert, highly alert, and focus. And see, drowsiness, that's interesting, which is at 4 to 8 hertz. You get really drowsy before, after you do mushrooms, right before you start tripping balls. So I wonder if it has something to do with altering the frequency of your brain. And see, there's a lot of talk about our dimension is at a certain frequency. I don't know. It's really interesting though that the brain gives off electrical signals. Very strange indeed. So as you can see, from 30 to 0.5 hertz apparently. So any electrical device that gives off anything from 0.5 to 30 hertz, or perhaps even beyond, could be altering your brain. Interesting that they say, oh no, nothing to worry about with 5G, nothing to worry about with cell phone radiation, even though it has some real effects. In fact, this is a good thing though. We know this. Blah 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 blah. These bastards. All right, so and you can check this out for yourself. I'm not going to read the whole thing right now. Like I said, I'll bring it up at some other time in a different quick little video. I really have to take a pee, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. We'll check if there's any comments, and we'll also check what we're running at. We're going to cut it off in an hour, so we're going to go really quickly on these next few things. Oh, look we've got a comment from one of my favorite subscribers here. Choosy Heretics Choose Carnation Revolution now. Bioethicist. Oh, nice picture, buddy. There you are. You're a real man, eh? All right, I like the mug. Is that you on the mug as well? Bioethicist from Georgetown? Jesuit snake. Guaranteed, he says. Perhaps you're right. I wouldn't doubt it. Sorry for missing that over half an hour ago. You commented that. Sorry for missing that. We will have to have you on the program very, very soon. Very soon. So I'm going to bathroom break. You know, they're editing this out. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so kicking this into overdrive, as if I haven't been reading as fast as possible already. Okay, so if you're familiar with like GTA 5 and GTA 4, you know songs like 54, 45 was my number, and it's like 54, 45, 46 was my number. Da, da, da. And there's Funky Kingston. They've got a lot of songs. Toots and the Maytals. I was actually smoking a J last night, listening to one of the songs, and it the world is cold when you find out that one of your favorite artists is dead in the comment section. Rest in peace, blah blah blah. Like holy shit. So apparently they're trying to say that this virus killed Toots Hibbert, when in fact he was put into a medical induced coma. So I mean that doesn't say anything of it. He seems like he's probably one of the earlier victims of, or perhaps the later victims of people being put on ventilators, which kills you really quick. So it's not too surprising in Jamaica that this happened. But yeah, essentially, this says that in August 2020, it was reported that Hibbert was in hospital fighting for his life in a medically induced coma. And on September 12th, 2020, a statement on the band's Facebook page announced that he had died at the age of 77. The Gleaner and Rolling Stone later confirmed the announcement, reporting that Hibbert had died at the University Hospital of the West Indies in Kingston in a medically induced coma. So, I don't know. That just seems very sketchy. It was later confirmed that uh, COV 1ID 19, whatever the hell that is. I don't know. That seems like some dumbass type that. During the pandemic in Jamaica was the underlying cause of his death. Now, not the medically induced coma. How the hell does putting someone in a coma help them? I mean, I've showed the proof before. I think really early on that putting people on these ventilators kill a bunch of them, and it's been in a lot of articles. So, anyways, that really sucks, and I would recommend you check out all of Toots and the Maytals music. It's mostly on YouTube, and it's, in my opinion, a lot better than Bob Marley. If you like Bob Marley, if you like reggae, Toots was one of the best, and the Maytals are still kicking it, apparently. So yeah, check them out. Check them out, and check them out now. Let's go on to this one quickly. I'm gonna skip over this one. I don't know what this is about, but I'm definitely. I promise I'm going to check it out because it seems like very confusing. I don't know. I don't have a lot of time, but it says that they're sending. It's very interesting. U.S. deploys private military contractors from Libya to Europe. Interesting. Interesting indeed. It says at least 150 private military contractors have been transported to Europe on the Pentagon chartered flights over the last week, according to the information and flight data analyzed by Arms Watch. Very strange. Anyways, I'm not gonna read that now, like I said. I'll read that soon. Oh, I don't know what it is. I don't know why I can't breathe well, but I'm gonna have to do something about that. Anyways, I'll try to squeeze out a little bit more here. I'm having a hard time talking right now. All right. Well, let's check out this one. This is something that I'm really interested in, which is Elon Musk, and not for the reasons that most people are, him being a so-called tech magnet. I'm more interested in the fact that he does stuff like smoke a joint, supposedly, on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. And, he's not a complete idiot. I'm sure he knows that doing illegal drugs are federally illegal, because it's supposedly legal in the state of California. Will have prices. And I've said before that that was basically a stunt to lower his stock price so that he could buy it back. And, anyways, this said Elon Musk says his $40 million tweet was worth it after being fined. Musk and Tesla fined $20 million each for misleading investors over privatization plans. And it's a really quick article. There's the boy there. Elon Musk, the billionaire chief executive of Tesla, said that his tweet cost him the company $20 million each in fines, and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission was worth it. This one says not a robot. How about the one that cost $20 million? How was that the like ratio on that? How is the like ratio on that one? It says worth it. And he's obviously got a nice big phallic rocket on his thing. Just a big cock, that Elon Musk. He is a grower. He is a shower, not a grower. The tweet, which I think that's backwards. The tweet, which was posted less than an hour before Musk went on to tweet that he would take a break from Twitter for a few days, was in response to a question from a Twitter follower. The SEC in September charged Musk, who was 47, with misleading investors with tweets in August that said he was considering taking Tesla private with a $420 a share. He had funding secured, no basis in fact, market chaos, hurting investors. Regulators claim Tesla and Musk have agreed to pay $20 million each to financial regulators, and under a settlement, the billionaire would step down as the company's chairman but remain as chief executive. Under the segment agreement, Tesla needs to appoint an independent chairman by the 13th of November. James Murdoch is seen as a leading contender. Murdoch is set to leave the role of chief executive of 21st Century Fox entertainment company when he completes the sale of the majority of assets to Disney. That's interesting. See, and I've said before, I'm pretty sure that Fox was already owned by mostly, or not mostly, by I think it was like a quarter of 21st Century Fox was owned by China. Now they're selling now they're selling the rest of their assets to Disney. It's pretty interesting that Disney and 21st Century Fox have been taken over by, what was classically, in the 80s in the Cold War, considered America's enemy and the enemy of freedom, which is a huge slave labor driven communist economy of China. I don't know, just try to go to China and do something illegal there, see what happens to you. I don't know. I might be wrong. I could be totally wrong on that one. Go try to smoke a joint in China. Go try to tell Xi Jinping he looks like Winnie the Pooh, even though they own fucking Disney. Is Disney a Winnie the Pooh trademark? I think it is. Pretty sure it is. Anyways, that's probably something tells me they bought Disney just so they could control that Winnie the Pooh thing. Apparently, that really bothered them. It says a lot about how accurate it might be. So, anyways, let's see. Blah 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 blah. Here, let's see. So they're selling it. He will be succeeded by his brother Lat Chalan. He has joined Tesla's board last year as a non-executive director. He's reportedly said he wants the job of chair. Under the SEC settlement, Musk will also have to comply with the company's communication procedures when tweeting about the firm. The SEC charged Tesla with failing to have required disclosure controls and procedures for Musk's tweet. The SEC said the company had no way to determine if his tweets contained complete and accurate information. Tesla last week announced that it had made a $312 million profit in its third quarter, far more than the analysts been expecting. A conference call with the analyst said that the company had delivered more cars in the past quarter than it did in all of 2016. He also said that Tesla expected to remain profitable into the next quarter and for all quarters going forward, except those in which large debt payments are due. So basically, he could have just avoided saying anything at all. He just didn't. He didn't have to say shit. All quarters going forward, except for those in which large debt payments are due. Okay, so you don't even need to say anything. You might as well just say fucking pudding. Anyways, so when it says right here, they profited 312 million that in the third quarter alone. So that's when Elon says, if that's his real name, when he says it was worth it, 40 million. I guess he meant it because it boosted sales. I don't know, something like that. Or maybe he was able to buy more shares of his company, like I was saying. Who knows? Who knows? But it's very interesting. Very interesting indeed. And that was from theguardian.com. Check that out. I didn't catch the author, but I'm in a rush here tonight. I don't know how long this article is. Jesus Christ. It's like, paragraphs long, people, but I don't know. There's a video popping up. I don't really know. Taming of the Hooved. Tame it. Sort of cruel. Let's see. Lily, Ford government talks, and this is for the Ontario, the capital of Canada, for you Yankees. Lily, Ford government talks of immunity passports for the vaccine. This is by Brian Lilly, December 9th, 2020, of the Toronto Sun. The Ford government is considering adopting an immunity passport to show who has taken a vaccine and who will be able to do certain activities once vaccination becomes widespread. The shocking comments were made by Health Minister Christine Elliott on Tuesday. Elliott was being asked about vaccine distribution, including convincing more people to take the shot once it's available. It is available. Stop saying it's not available. It's totally ours. You can go right ahead. It's right a long time. The minister won't a vaccine on anyone. Yeah, caution that there would be consequences for those who don't take it. Gee, that's not scary. Oh, look at this wonderful propaganda piece. I can't watch it though. Don't have enough time right now. That's their choice. It's not going to be a mandatory campaign. It will be voluntary, but there will be some restrictions that may be placed on people who don't have vaccines for travel purposes to be able to go to theaters and other places, Elliott said. So basically, they're going to create a apartheid kind of Jim Crow society. That's wonderful. And it's just going to ultimately lead to these sectors being destroyed and nobody doing it, except for the people who are stupid enough to get this thing, who'll probably die anyways. Asked, and it's interesting that the travel hubs like airports and stuff are not questioning this, perhaps because they were given a lot of money by the governments while this stuff was happening, while lockdowns were happening. While small businesses were left wither up. Asked by another reporter whether the government would be providing proof of vaccination, Elliott doubled down. Yes, because that's going to be really important for people to have for travel purposes, and perhaps for work purposes, for going to theaters or cinemas or any other places where people will be in closer physical contact. And it's just funny because these things are still open right now. I think the theaters are open in a lot of places. I might be mistaken, but they're all at 20% capacity. It's just a joke. And basically, I think you have to pay a lot more to go there when it's 20% capacity. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and probably, I don't know. Can I read the rest of this? Jesus Christ, I can barely talk right now. Let's see. I may be ready and willing to take a vaccine. I might think it's the smart thing to do, but those comments jump out as having a huge potential for violating the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Who said that? Elliot? I don't know. The idea of an immunity passport restricts everyday social activities, could violate Section 2, which protects the it could or it does. It could violate it, which protects the conscious right, Section 6, which protects mobility rights in Section 7, which protects the right to life, liberty, and the security of the person. So they're just trampling over three of the essential so-called rules of society, but it doesn't really matter because we got to stop people flying. Or is it even 2%, or is it 0.5? I don't know. Is it 0.1? No, it's definitely not zero. It's not definitely not 3% of people from dying. You get it. In fact, I would wager, this is not a fact, but I would wager more old people have died in hospitals from poor management, and also of these actual experimental vaccines than the virus itself. I'm just guessing. But mismanagement and the vaccines combined, I'd say for sure. All right, so shocked that Elliot, who is also a lawyer, would endorse such an idea. I reached out to her office for confirmation. In a statement, Press Secretary Alexandria Hennikin said that the government is looking at many options for a vaccine tracking and surveillance. This includes exploring developing tech-based solutions while also providing for alternative options to ensure equitable access to any potential immunity passport. Ooh, equitable access, so stupid. The phrases will set off alarm bells, and it should, not just for anti-vaxxers, but anyone who is concerned about the charter rights and governments running rough-shouldered over them. And you'd have to be an anti-vaxxer not to want an experimental DNA, mRNA altering genotherapy injection that legally can't be defined as a vaccine in I think it's certain places. I think also not approved by the FDA. None of these vaccines have been approved by the FDA. They have, however, gotten emergency approval. So, whatever that's worth for you. Some very horrible things have gotten emergency approval over the years. Several legal experts I spoke with, both on and off record, say they will need to see details before knowing how far the government is going. That said, see, and it's funny because it's supposed to be we're supposed to have a say in the so-called government. It's supposed to be democracy, and yet this clearly says how far the government is going, not might go. Not the plans that might be put forth to the people. So it's pretty clear. It's basically at this point a dictatorship. They said the consensus was that Elliot described would violate the charter. Litigation specialist Jonathan Lissus, a lawyer since 1992, someone who has argued many charter cases, said that the actions described by Elliot would likely end up in heading to court for a judge on the rule. The question will be whether infringements can be justified under Section 1, said Lysius. For example, I see a credible argument as a condition of visiting a hospital or air travel. It gets harder the broader the application. See, and that's crazy. How does somebody say that you see a credible argument for visiting a hospital? I could see air travel because that's something you don't need to live. That's kind of a privilege. But a hospital, that's something that's supposed to be a right. A doctor, a dentist, oh, you're going to have a fucking vaccine. It's an apartheid state, and it's going to create a real split. And I think they're going to find that most people, including dentists and doctors with their heads screwed on straight, are not going to be part of this. They're going to end up leaving, and then they're going to have to switch to the robots as if they don't want to do that. Section 1 of the blah blah blah. It's almost over here. Section 1 of the Charter allows governments to infringe on the rights if the infringement can be demonstratively justified, which you can't with the data. With all available data, no, it cannot be demonstratively justified for COVID-19. No, it cannot. So anyways, I mean, this is just insanity. That said, it's not a hall pass for the government, and Supreme Court has set out strict tests for what qualifies. The broader application has mentions that would be what private businesses choose to do. Carl Zolwebley, a director of fundamental freedoms programs at Canadian Civil Liberties Association, said that while there are a lot of Canadian civil liberties, said that while there are a lot of details to learn, the idea of excluding people based on vaccine status would be problematic. She points out that those who cannot take vaccines for health reasons or other protected grounds in legal terms, or why not people who just don't want to have this experimental shit? But of course, it's a limited hangout with these mainstream articles, and it's just disgusting on every level. What happens if these people have some protection against something that wasn't previously out there, and now they're spreading it on to these people who are unvaccinated? It's just crazy on all these levels. And the people who are administering these vaccines should be tried, and then we should work on changing the rules to have those people put to a legally sanctioned execution, in my personal opinion, in Canada as well as the United States, because these people are putting us all at risk. They really are. She also, I don't even want to be in this society where people are taking this therapy. What could happen if they sneeze on me? I could fucking die, or grow a third penis. Wait, third penis? She also noted problems with allowing private companies to demand to see proof of vaccination. Fascism and stuff. There are significant privacy provisions if we are allowing private businesses to ask customers to hand over their health information, so Lebby said. While some might be willing to vaccinate uh, everyone and damn the consequences, that is a dangerous and slippery slope, and it also tramples the rights we claim to hold dear as Canadians. And it also tramples over something, a little something called the what is it? The Nuremberg Code, that you have to give people a total informed consent, and you can't engage in experimental treatments unless people are fully informed of the risks behind that. Because the Nazis used to do that stuff. So anybody who says that this vaccine is bad, you're a white supremacist, and you should probably be locked up and marked as a terrorist. I'm gonna do a read later on about at some point during the week, probably the weekend, about how the U.S. Secretary Office was saying that I think it was the Ukraine was justified. It might be the Ukraine was justified in drone bombing civilians. So if you because they were militias, and militias are legally allowed under the U.S. Constitution. So if you don't think that they'll start drone bombing little communities that maybe want to leave and start their own communities, you're crazy. They definitely will. The greatest trick that the devil ever pulled was making you think he's a racist. He's not a racist, and he will bomb you. Don't think that because you're not brown and live in the Middle East, he's not going to drop a bomb on your head. Anyways, let's finish this off. There are also significant privacy provisions. Blah 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 blah. While some might be willing to blah 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 blah, the Ford government needs to tread carefully on this file. The Ford government, as if it's the Ford government. All right. Well, that about does it for me. Oh shit. There it is. All right, I thought I had lost my stream here. That about does it for me. We're at 1 hour and 13 minutes. The two articles that I didn't really get to are, and I will cover them separately. Toronto's lockdown Cesar husband has financial ties to Pfizer and AstraZeneca. So that's very interesting. And this person, I'm not sure, but she really doesn't look like she was born in Canada. I'm not sure about that. Eileen de Villa. I think she married into the name de Villa. Could be wrong. But yeah, apparently this is not a long article, so I'll have plenty of time to rant over it. But apparently, one of the people who is advocating that the lockdown keep going on and on and on and on, 2 weeks to flatten the curve, even though they never even closed McDonald's, has a financial stake in it. I really think that most of what's going on right now is we're being set up to see these people being really offered up on a silver platter to usher in some kind of new world order, not the new world order we've been expecting, but perhaps one that's adored and cheered for, as happened with Hitler. Hitler was not he's not hated and stuff at first. He was actually loved and revered, and he was elected. So, people tend to forget that. Oh, he was a dictator, all this stuff. Blah, blah, blah. No, he was an elected official, guys. And everything they did was completely legal under German law. Pretty scary, isn't it? Pretty scary. So I realized I didn't actually have my shared screen up for the last half of this presentation. So, that's the difference. that quality makes. And we're also going to cover this because this really really grinds my gears. It really burns my waffles. It really pisses in my cornflakes. Tim Hortons says cold weather, lukewarm roll up the rim, roll the rim contest led to lower sales. So they're saying that cold weather led to lower coffee sales, guys. That cold weather led to lower coffee sales. What? This is in 2019, and this year, in 2021, they've switched to, and they're talking about this. They've switched from prizes under the lid to codes. Do you know how many people are gonna throw away that code? I'd say most of them. Most people do not have time to type in a fucking code while they're drinking their Tim Hortons coffee, or even after. They don't have time. They don't care what to win a donut or to lose on a donut and give up their personal information. And see, what's crazy about this is they're putting the information in on their phone. So every time they do that, they're being tracked by Tim Hortons, who can, perhaps give some tracking data for the contact tracing programs that the governments have admitted they're doing on people. So we're going to take a look at this article very soon in a dedicated what the roll the rim inventor has to say about it, and that's what I'm interested to hear, because it says this is one quote, and I'm only going to read the one quote. Before they start complaining about the contest losing punch, they should realize they've taken a lot of punch out themselves, says Ron Buist. This is from April 30th, 2019. It's only a 4-minute read, so I can't wait to do this article. I really can't. This is the kind of stuff I really love to do, because Tim Hortons used to be my favorite place to go. I used to not even really love McDonald's that much. I used to love to go to Tim Hortons, get myself a nice donut and a hot chocolate. They used to have handmade donuts baked every couple of hours. Usually they were still warm. They had eclairs. And man, these things were unbelievable. They were like a foot long almost, and just the most wonderful donut you can imagine. It had that chocolate covering. It's like a chocolate dip, or it's rather like a Boston cream, but with whipped cream inside instead of that custard. That's, it's all right, but it's not that great. It's like pudding. But I'm interested because that's what I've said for a long time. Oh, Tim Hortons contest is really losing sales and blah blah blah. And sometimes they had like 4 prizes a year, and you would barely ever win anything. And if you did win something, it was always a donut, maybe a coffee, but it was usually a donut. And most people want a coffee. So yeah, I don't know. I think they should just get, like, with the food prizes, they should just give you a choice. You can have a coffee, a donut, and even a sandwich if you want. You want a sandwich? Here you go. Here's some French fries. Here's a poutine. Anything you want on the menu for free. What are they going to lose out on? $8 fucking? And it would drive people crazy if you had a choice to choose any food product on the item, because their donuts really suck. Like, they're absolutely pathetic. McDonald's donuts, go for them. Go for them now. If you got the munchies, go for them now. But Tim Hortons donuts, they suck. They're not even worth it. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, if you offered people a chance to get, a nice sandwich or a poutine or something, man, Tim, the roll up the rim would explode. These people are completely stupid. They have no idea what they're doing. They sit in their ivory towers, and they're so disconnected. They think that some online code and some scanning. Do they even have a QR fucking code for this new roll up the rim program? I would really love to know. Do they even have a QR scan, guys? Do you have to type in the code manually? Is it that fucking archaic and caveman like? Probably. Probably. Anyways, uh, I can't wait to go over that this week. And I'm going to start taking aim at Tim Hortons. I like Tim Hortons. Bunch of dildos. And I think they should either be forced to sell, because a couple of years ago, Tim Hortons really went downhill when they sold to the RBI, Restaurant Brands International. They really went downhill, and they basically became the McDonald's of donuts. And like I say, McDonald's donuts are boom shakalaka. They taste kind of like what Tim Hortons donuts used to taste like, but maybe I wouldn't say better. I wouldn't say better, because they used to be really good. But anyways, the Pride of Canada has been turned into the embarrassment. They were at number 3 I think it was customer satisfaction or employee satisfaction. They're now at number 56. So that should tell you something. They're garbage now, and it's really sad because people like this guy made Tim Hortons something to be proud of if you were Canadian. It's something to brag about. Now it's a joke. Now it's a joke. You used to get even a picture of the prize, I think, at some point. That really excites you. So, anyways, I mean, it's really simple. In these kinds of contests, if they give out a lot of stuff next year or even that year, they'll have it going crazy. And they should do this for like 3 months out of the year. Why do they do it 1 month out of the year? They screw their employees. They barely pay minimum wage. They toss out half their donuts anyways. They do par baked, which is partial baked donuts. They don't even make them from scratch. I'm taking all the love out of it, and it's disgusting. So I'm taking aim at them with a nice video that I'm probably going to call "Should Tim Hortons be forced to sell or to leave Canada?" Because if they don't want to sell, then we'll make a new restaurant and give people real jobs. Because it's just ridiculous. All the money they take in, and they can't pay anyone more than minimum wage. Or sorry, they pay managers $1 above minimum wage. So I should shut my mouth before I get sued for slander. So shout out to former Tim Hortons head of marketing, Ron Boyce. Straight up shout out to him. And although his hair is rolling up, his brain cells seem to be fully intact. That about does it for me tonight on the program. But for anybody who watched in the replay, thank you very much. Shout out to Heretics. Choosy Heretics, choose Carnation Revolution now. I'd love for you guys to check out his channel. He has a channel, and he has the personal belief, which it might actually really contribute, that the Jesuit order is the people who are blackmailing and pulling a lot of the strings. So yeah, I'd be interested to hear what he has to say about that. And yeah, we got to check that out at some point. So check out his channel. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Shame you couldn't stick around, but I know you're busy. And so yeah, shout out to all you bad motherfuckers. And yeah, we're gonna be coming back with more videos and stuff. Probably during the weekend. I'm really sorry that I didn't do an episode last week. I had a lot of ideas. In fact, a lot of the ideas I wanted to include in this episode, like Fauci's neck skin looking like a lizard mask or gills or something. I just didn't have time to put the presentation together. I had some bad news in the family I don't want to go into. I'll be putting a video out about it and about how people, especially in their last moments now, are really being made to suffer. And it's just horrible. I mean, in your last moments, shouldn't you be comforted and treated with luxury? And instead, we treat our dying people like a burden and like trash. And in my opinion, most of so-called cancer treatment is really just to accelerate what might be a very benign illness into being something lethal quickly. You think about it. We've known since the 1930s or 40s from Madame Curie's radiation experiments that radiation gives cancer and it kills you. It really does. And yet what do we do for even just not even old people or middle-aged people, but children? We blast them with radiation, even though their cells are more sensitive. It's crazy, guys. Everybody wants to hashtag save the children, march for the children, march against sex trafficking children, but nobody even takes into account what's happening to children right before our eyes. We've got the transgender children movement, which it's pretty crazy that you can't even drink until you're 18. But if you try to stop your child from transitioning genders at a young age, then you could lose custody in Canada. That's in Canadian law. And I only know one instance of this being applied, and it was to a 16-year-old kid or person or whatever you want to say. And in my opinion, man, you should at least be like 20 or 21. You need to be at least fully grown, man. Even 18 is probably a little too early. But in my full opinion, full opinion, I think that most of that, except for the small amount of people who are born with, I knew somebody personally at my high school that it had incorrect genitals, and I think she eventually got the surgery to be realigned. And, that's definitely something that should be paid for, man. Imagine if you're born between genders, like physically born between genders, and you had to pay for that yourself. That's fucked up. So I definitely support that for sure. But I think it's just it's I think it's personally preying on the mentally ill. People feel like a different gender when in fact maybe they're just gay or bisexual, and they're forced into doing or tricked into doing something, encouraged into doing something that usually leads to their suicide. Most statistically speaking, most of these people who do this, uh, most of them being like over 75%, end up committing suicide or regretting it. So, and the people that don't do it end up growing out of it by a later age. So yeah, it's strange, and it's not from a place of hate. These comments, it's from a place of love. I don't appreciate the most vulnerable in society being preyed upon like that. And hey, if you want to get a sex change and you're crazy and this and that, and you're having a good time and you're over 21 and you know what you want to do, and you're just into weird shit, go for it. But I think most of these people are definitely being preyed upon, and it's all part of the destabilization of society. We've been able to give kids pills when they're like 10 years old, 7 years old for years here in Canada. I myself was given poison medication, and everybody's talking about Pizzagate. Nobody gives a shit that they've got kids in cages from Mexico and stuff. They're talking about Pizzagate, Pizzagate, Pizzagate. Nobody cares about the kids being blasted with radiation. So to end off today, I just gotta say, as always, in the world's of paradise. And we're still living in the Garden of Eden. You plant a seed, you can get some crazy fire weed. You can get some really good weed. You can make some hash. You can grow your own mushrooms. You can grow wheat. You can grow sugar. You can make alcohol, your own alcohol. You can have all the pleasures of life grown from your garden and grown in your own very backyard. You can have a fish pond with fresh, delicious fish fried up, caught from your very own backyard pond. And instead, what do? We live in smart. We live in small little. We live in huge cities and small little boxes. We pay out the ass for rent, and we pay over 30% of our income to rent and taxes alone. So when you really get down to it, you've got less than 30 or 20% of your income to save for a house. It's just craziness. So, anyways, we live in a paradise, this planet. We really do. And why does stuff happen? Oh, bad stuff happen. Why do little kids die at a young age and all this stuff? Could it be because of the Wi-Fi? Could it be because of the cell phone radiation or the chemicals they're being fed, or anything in the food or the water that's actually emitted on the packaging? No, 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 no. It's genetic illness, and it's stuff we need to make little fetal babies in a test tube to solve. It's pay no attention to the massive lawsuit in progress at Monsanto/Bayer for poisoning the food supply of the world with what the hell is it called? Glycosol. I don't know. Look into it. Look into it, people. But yeah, the world's a paradise. We just gotta stick up for it. Why does this bad stuff happen? It's because you, me, and your cousin Bob don't do shit. We get up every day. We come on YouTube. We jerk off in the comment section and pretend to care, and then we go back to our lives. Nobody talks about running for office and really scaring these fuckers into thinking they might have to have a conversation at some point in the future. And that's all that needs to really happen. We need to challenge these people in their own political fields, as well as creating an alternative, because let's not forget, this is clearly a rigged game. If you weren't woken up by the results of the 2020 election, and in my opinion, I've said this before, I don't think that election was any more rigged or any less rigged than all the other U.S. elections. They've all been rigged for the last 40, 50, 60, maybe 300 years. It's really just funny. So anyways, to close it up, we're in the last minute here. I'll just say, yeah, stick up for your world, and think about what I've said. Think about the real beauty of life. I recommend doing some mushrooms soon, and just thinking about, man, like what I said, a seed carries a life long after that plant dies. Isn't that very strange? Isn't that very strange? I can't wait to get out in the garden. Thanks for watching, people, and remember, don't let Bill Gates and Microsoft and Google be the ones who decide who gets to see this video. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, try to red pill somebody. Hell, if you know somebody that smokes weed, be like, hey, this guy goes live, he smokes weed, and he lets people come on screen with a cool split screen device. They can chat, they can have fun. There's all kinds of different ways to split up the screen. And coming soon, we'll have a new green screen. So thanks a lot for tuning in. And remember, like Ben Franklin said, those who sacrifice essential liberty for temporary freedom, those who sacrifice essential liberty for temporary safety deserve neither and will likely get just that. Thank you for watching. I'm Al Wooden, aka the Skeptical Canuck, and this has been News, Politics, Conspiracy Theory Chat. I need to smoke a fucking joint. Thanks for watching. Oh, tasty.